It's just about 3:15, so that means that it's time for Tech Ambassadors. Yet another session with Jordan Jankis at the Arc Westchester. Welcome everybody. Hope you're enjoying the beautiful day today. A little cool, but pretty nice. If you want to see some of our prior webinars, you can go onto our technology page. There's the URL there. We're trying to come up with practical ideas to help people with technology. I really believe that personal technology can be a great learning tool, and we're trying to spread that word. I see one of the folks on our call today is Matt Shelley, and he's the executive director of Camp Venture. And last week I was over at Camp Venture with an associate, and we got a tour of their technology center out there, and I learned an awful lot from what Matt and his team are doing out there. So, I'd love to do more of this, find out what other people are doing in their agencies, in their individual locations, family members, DSPs, who's ever using tech. Boy, I'd love to pick your brains because nobody knows everything in this field. So we had a lovely visit and we got to see an amazing technology center. So I'd love to go to more sites. And while we were there, we actually did a Facebook Live video, which you can see on our Arc Westchester page. Anyway, on to today. We are talking today about it's an app, but it's also web-based, and it's available on iOS. It's available on Android, and it is available as a standalone web app. Some of you, especially amongst the younger generations, might know about this app. Probably it was used in your school if you've been in school in the last 10 years. But I'm an old man. I don't know about Quizlet, and I found it very interesting to learn about it. And I can't pretend to know a lot about it at this point. I'm still on a learning adventure, but from what I see, it's pretty darn cool. It's a way that you can set up learning modules for people, either through lesson plans, flashcards, a whole bunch of different things. So I'm going to show it to you now. It's free. There's some options that I'll talk about at the end that improve the interface, but for the free version, it's pretty darn cool. Here's an example of what I created just today on Quizlet. I signed up with a username and a password, and that was free. And the main foundation of Quizlet is a thing called study sets, which are composed of two things. One, a term, and the other thing, a definition. So in this case, I was playing around with the idea of, well, maybe I could use this for self-advocacy. I do a lot of that here at the Arc Westchester, helping people to understand the different types of self-advocacy. You can put the terms and the definitions of the terms in all different kinds of formats. You can do it as a flashcard, a standalone flashcard. You put it as a learning lesson. You can write your answers. You can have the program actually read all the definitions and the terms. So that's really cool. There's a matching game. There's a space game. A whole bunch of different ways to do this and to help people learn in a fun manner. So here's a very, very simple idea of self-advocacy. Self-advocates, you can advocate for yourself, or you can all get together and advocate as a group. And that's really important. Here, I was trying to make the distinction between personal self-advocacy, maybe talking up at your life plan meeting, or talking up in your house or with your parents and asking for things that you want. And the difference between that and group self-advocacy, where people all get together and they lobby for things like the ABLE Act or way back when the ADA. If this was a flashcard, the first thing that you would see on one side would be personal self-advocacy. You flip the card around and you would say, speaking up for what I want in life for myself. So that would be a way for you to understand that term. It's such a complex industry that we're in. We throw around terms all the time that we expect people to understand things like, ISPs, ICFs, IRAs, all these things. But wouldn't it be nice if the people that we serve understood what the heck we're talking about and that we remember to make it understandable by everybody? So we can do that through flashcards and we can do that through a lot of other features of Quizlet. This is a recent thing that Quizlet apparently has come out with, which are diagrams, which are visual aids. So, there might be, if you went back to Biology 101, the diagram of the human body, but also there's lots of things that we could use. Articles of clothing, reading emotions, very important for folks on the autism spectrum. So that's a feature that they call diagrams. Besides creating your own flashcards and lesson plans, it's amazing. There's about 50 million users that use Quizlet, and a lot of them have created study sets that are available to anybody out there. And so I was searching, and I've only scratched the tippy top of what's available. I just typed in healthy eating, and I got this whole study set on healthy eating. But there's 500 other sets that I haven't looked at yet. In our field, which I primarily deal with transition age folks and adults, there's a lot in the K to 12 field, but as far as tools for the adult world, I don't think there's as many tools, but this could be a great tool for us. So here we have a study set on healthy eating, and one side of the flashcard would say, what food group does milk belong to? Is it a protein? Is it a fat? Is it a vegetable? What the heck is it? You flip it over and it's dairy. And you can use this for any examples. You could do it for what clothing matches a particular day as far as the weather. So, hot weather, you wear shorts. Cold weather, you wear a coat. For some of the folks that we work with that have significant cognitive challenges, this is not a childish instructional piece. This could really help them. This is a little hard to see on the screen, but this is another study set that I downloaded, which was about life skills and some terms that we throw around. So here you have the term motivate. That's a pretty complicated term for a lot of folks, but this is a matching game. And so we would match it with to encourage someone onto some goal or course of action. Literate, we say, are you literate? What does that mean? Oh, you're able to read, write, and use information. So Quizlet allows you not only to use flashcards, but also matching games where you can take some of these terms that may be more complicated and create this grid and try and match them and then learn as you're going along. I think it's fantastic. There's, I don't know how many study sets out there, but boy, there looks like there's hundreds of thousands. Some of them may be oriented to, like when I was searching for self-advocacy, a lot of them were oriented to the K to 12 system, especially, attending your IEP meeting. But if we don't have study sets that exist in the adult world for people with cognitive disabilities, let's create them. This is a free app when you start it, and that's a pretty cheap entry fee. You could create flashcards, you can create quizzes and games, so many different things to help people learn. That diagram feature where you get a lot of visuals, it's wonderful. There are so many potential uses, and I would love to hear from people out there. If anybody in our fellow agencies are using it, I'd love to know how you're using it. What kind of ways can we use it? I just had some simple ideas that maybe we could make a study set that's about emergency procedures. What happens when you all of a sudden lose your wallet? What happens if you're running late for work? How do you evacuate your group home if something terrible happens? What are the procedures? And you could practice with people. Again, with some folks on the autism spectrum, they have facial recognition issues. So if you're walking into a company where you just got your job and there's 30 people that you're working with, it would be nice to have a picture of the person, their name on the other side, and what they do at the company so you don't feel overwhelmed and lost. Just so many things. And then back to the terminology of our industry, if we could make that comprehensible to people, managed care. What do we mean by that? Can we put that in simple terms? A care coordinator. What is that? What are they supposed to do? Fill it in on the back of the card. All kinds of things. I mean, it's just incredible. It's a free app, but of course, free comes with underlying prices. It's $1 a month will let you remove all the ads on the app. And I can see the merit in that because ads are always very distracting when you're working with people in a learning situation. For $3 a year, and you can pay in one lump sum, it gives you total access to everything, meaning that you not only can look at your study sets offline, but you have a whole picture library that you can import to your study sets. There's nothing that's not missing in the paid version for $3 a month. And I think that's a bargain for an app that is this powerful. Again, I'm just showing this because I hope people out there can tell me if you're using it, how you're using it, and that we can all learn from each other, because this is pretty exciting, especially for those of you who have a smart board or smart table. What a great joint learning experience. I mean, for 12 years I was doing self-advocacy instruction, and boy, I wish I had thought of using this or had been aware of it, because it would have been so much easier to explain complex terms, say like the Americans with Disabilities Act. What does that really mean? So you could have ADA on one side of the card, flip it over, passed in 1990, gives you the rights to compete for jobs with anybody else, also makes the world more accessible to you, and on and on. We throw terms around like the Olmstead Act. What the heck is that? How can we make people understand all these things? I'd really encourage you to try it out free, and it's available on lots of different platforms. We're having a March 28th conference next year, March 28th, 2019, a Thursday at Mercy College, where we're going to talk about tech supports for learning, living, and work. And I'm really interested in getting more people to present at the conference, people that are in the field that are doing interesting things every day. I'd love to talk to you about a possible session. It would be great to have your practical experience and share it with the world. Thanks very much. Appreciate all your time. I'm not going to waste your time, so I'm going to sign off in 2 seconds. And if anybody wants to invite me to their agency for a hands-on view of what you're doing, I'd be glad to do that. And I'll bring my iPad and we'll do a Facebook Live and we'll try and learn from each other. Because at the end of the day, this field is too complicated for any one person or any one agency. And let's all learn together. So I wish you a very happy Tuesday. I'll see you on the November the 6th, next Tuesday. And besides that, remember to vote. Take care, everybody.